The content presented is for entertainment purposes only. Some content may not be suitable for all viewers. Viewer discretion is advised. Well, hello, everyone. How are you doing, Mr. Alakai?
Hello, sir. I'm doing fantastic.
Don't call me sir.
Okay. Yes, ma'am.
I'm not old.
Yes, ma'am.
Well, hello. I don't know. I thought Doubtfire right then for whatever reason.
Robin Williams.
May he rest in peace.
I know. Dude, when I was in high school, I had a teacher that read my name off the roster. Or no, it was a substitute teacher. She read my name off the roster, and she was just like, Alakia?
Alakazam?
Is she here? And I'm in the back, and I was just like,
Present.
here.
Hey, Aaron.
My goodness.
Sorry, Keely and Peele. My wife and I watched that the other night. We were dying laughing. It was
Dude,
so
I
funny.
love Key and Peele. You guys watch it on Hulu, or do you just watch like the YouTube shorts?
Is it Netflix? I think it's on. Is it on Netflix? No, I think
I
it is
saw
on
it on
Hulu.
Hulu. I think it's on Hulu. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, it's on Hulu.
Yeah.
Nah, that's good stuff. Although, some of these artists, like, they're making so much money off of these. Like, they're honestly some of the most, artists when they become popular, and like, especially comedians and stuff, and they finally make it. They make it really, really well, and they're some of the most privileged people on the planet. And it's really interesting watching two comedians act out disparagements against the color of their skin. And I'm just like, bro, how many tickets do you get out of nowadays? Like, give me a break. How many tickets do you think Kevin Hart gets nowadays? Like, I bet he gets dude, it's Kevin Hart. Dude, they just like let those dudes go. Like, give me a break. Get the most privileged people in the world, and you're just like, oh, disparagement of black people. It's like, I don't know. What do you do?
Did you ever hear that story about Kit Harington? I think he went on. It was either Jimmy Kimmel's or Jimmy Fallon's. I don't remember. One of the Jimmys. But he went he went on one of their shows, and he was telling the story of how he got out of a police ticket by spoiling Game of Thrones for the police officer.
Yes, I do remember that.
Yeah, he was like, yeah, I almost got a ticket, but the cop was just like, I'll let you go, but you got to tell me if your character lives or dies in the next season of Game of Thrones.
That's privilege, bro.
And then he was like, well, your answer, like, whether or not I give you a ticket is going to depend on your answer. So
yeah.
It's so funny.
That's hilarious, man. Like,
freaking Kit Harington.
Yeah.
Good man.
So sad how they ended Game of Thrones, but I mean, that whole show could have lived an absolute, like, it would have probably been like up there with Lord of the Rings, I think,
dude,
in a lot of ways.
Yeah, I mean,
that's how big of a phenomenon it was.
For a long time, I really felt like Game of Thrones was like my favorite thing. Like, I was like, man, like, this is way better than Lord of the Rings. And then after seeing the ending, I'm like, nope, Lord of the Rings is still like above all else for me. So I love Lord of the Rings more than I love Star Wars, Harry Potter, Game of Thrones, Marvel even.
I think I have to agree with you. Like, even the older Star Wars movies weren't that incredible. I mean, they were good, they were great. Only Empire Strikes Back, in my opinion, was probably the best storytelling piece of the whole trilogy.
Definitely. You can't watch Empire Strikes Back without having seen A New Hope, though. Like, it's,
true. True.
You do need it. The thing is, like, with Fellowship of the Ring, I can rewatch that so many times and not get tired of it.
Yeah. That's probably as close to a perfect movie film that you can get.
100%.
Like,
the extended edition too,
yes,
where it's like almost 4 hours.
Yes.
Yeah, I think so. Fellowship of the Ring is probably my most rewatchable one. The Two Towers is probably my least favorite. It's still a great movie, love it, but Return of the King, out of all three of them, is like my favorite out of all of them, just because of the wrap up.
Yeah.
So, but Fellowship of the Ring, I tend to
and the close
rewatch
of Aragorn's story, like,
yep. the full circle, because I mean, like, you can
and the battle. I mean, come on.
Yeah, the
Who
battles.
doesn't want heads of Urukai and orcs just being lopped off left and right? I mean, come on.
Yeah. No, but it's Aragorn. That whole story, like, because at the very beginning, it's very much like, I walked away from that path. That is not who I am. And then at the very end, it's like, freaking Lord of the Rings geeks over here. Don't mind us.
At the end, when the most favorite part, when he turns to his friends.
Yeah.
He's like,
you bow to
for
no one.
Frodo. And then everybody just like, bah!
Oh my goodness. Yeah, because it's such a small, like, almost like Battle of the 300 kind of esque, where it's like this super small crew, yet like they're so intimidating when they're running. And the battle cries are just, oh my goodness. We might have to have like a Lord of the Rings episode, man.
Bro, I think so. Like after we do the Ancients series that just came out on Netflix.
I need to watch that.
It looks really, really good. And I listened to the podcast that they went on with Joe Rogan. I'm just like, I have to watch that. It completely changes the way that the different reasons that humanity have almost gone extinct like several times in the past, and how we've had cataclysmic like droppings, however you call it, starfalls of meteorites, basically wiping out these grand civilizations, and then man just basically starting over again, and like how that changes our history as human beings. It's very, very fascinating stuff.
Crazy stuff.
I can't wait to see it.
Yeah.
But what's new in your corner, really quick, while we're getting into the flow here,
dude? What's new?
Yeah.
There is only one new thing that is very important to me that's going on this week.
What's that?
And that is God of War Ragnarok came out this week.
God of War Ragnarok. Is that a game?
Yes. Have you never played the God of War games?
I have not. No.
Okay, so God of
War. I know it's a big IP, and I know they've had several good releases from it, though.
Yeah,
I do know it's good.
Like early 2000, no, not early 2000s, but more like 2000. When the PlayStation 3 was really big, they came out with the God of War series, and it takes place in Sparta. It's the Greek gods, right?
Oh, okay.
But so they just revamped them and released, like rebooted almost in a way. It's same character, but like new story. He's older, wiser now. And he left Sparta and went to the Norse realm. So he went from destroying all the Greek gods to now he has this whole story in the Norse world.
Baller.
And it's phenomenal. It is probably one of the best, if not the best, story-driven video game that I have ever played.
So it looks like the first rendition of the game, the God of War, the first one, came out in 2005 for the PlayStation 2.
Oh, it's that
and
old. Okay.
PS2 video console.
Okay, I thought it was just with the PlayStation 3.
Wow,
I don't know.
That's a while ago.
I actually never played those ones. I know like the stories and like the lore and how those stories kind of played out. I never played the games themselves because I just never really cared to. But like these new ones, because I'm a huge Norse mythology geek.
Yes, you are.
Yeah. So when this one came out, I was like, I have to play this. And then I went into it knowing nothing and fell in love with it. And Ragnarok, so the God of War Ragnarok is the name of the game, came out on the 9th, and I pre-ordered it, had it.
Is that a word?
I'm sorry. I'm too I trip over my words when I get excited. So I downloaded it, and by the time that the 9th came around, it was playable, and I was like, this is what I'm doing. So
this is what I'm playing for the next while.
I know, I'm already like 15. I've put off so much. Like after class, when I get home, that's what I do. After I get off of work, that's what I'm playing. And
that's pretty exciting.
I'm still making time for the gym, but like, oh my goodness, it's so good, dude. Oh my. I love it. I love it so much.
I'm getting a little excited for the new Diablo 4 game that's coming out next year. There
2023?
has been some rumors that it may be out as early as April.
2023?
Yeah, of next year.
Okay.
At the latest, the maybe fall of 2023. But there have been some rumors that it's going to be ready because they're already doing beta. They're already doing their beta plays.
Okay.
Right now.
Interesting.
And it's supposed to be a really good blend of the original Diablo 2 game, with some aspects of like PoE, like the talent trees and stuff like that kind of look similar to that. The gameplay looks absolutely incredible. It's probably the coolest gameplay I've seen come out from Blizzard in a very, very long time. I just hope they do it right. I just really do. I'm definitely going to buy the game. I may even get excited enough to pre-order the collector's edition, and I'll definitely play through a couple of the classes just to kind of get an idea of it. I don't know if it'll make it my permanent game or not, but I don't know. We'll see.
Got a lot of loyalty going here with Diablo 3. So
yeah, I played Diablo 3 for many, many years. I played Diablo 2 for many, many years, and I'm back playing Diablo 2 again because it's such a great game. But yeah, it'll probably be good to switch it up and do something different. I wouldn't mind playing more games that have, like more storytelling stuff and like kind of has a beginning and an end, not like just a continual play.
Yeah.
So,
I honestly, I don't know if it's on sale, but I highly, because you have a PS4, right?
I do not. We
really?
we had a PS4 Slim, but we sold it because our foster kid was no longer in our home. He had to go back into the system.
Okay.
And so, and since we all got Nintendo Switches, we just didn't see the need to have two different consoles.
Yeah, that's fair.
And I mostly play on PC anyway, so it was kind of like a waste. And honestly, like I might even sell my Switch because I just don't play it, to be honest.
Yeah, so because I was in the same boat. I had a PC, I have a Switch, and I have a PS4.
Yeah.
But I had each one for the exclusives.
Mm-hmm.
But I was never really playing on my PC all that much after a few years. Like I mostly played on my PC for competitive first-person shooters, and lost interest in that pretty quick.
First-person shooters can be rough.
I still love first-person shooters. I'll still throw on Call of Duty, Modern Warfare every once in a while.
Okay.
I'll still throw that on, and it is fun. I love it. Titanfall 2 is amazing, and was really like, it's such an underrated game, but like, yeah, I wasn't playing it enough to keep my PC, so I just went and sold that. But now I have a PlayStation specifically for the PlayStation exclusives, and I have a Switch specifically for the Nintendo exclusives.
Gotcha.
So stuff like
that makes sense.
Stuff like Breath of the Wild, Legend of Zelda, Mario Kart, all that kind of fun stuff that you can play with friends. And then like I need my PS4 for like The Last of Us, God of War, the Spider-Man games.
Yeah.
All those really phenomenal games. So I mean, yeah, I might get a PC again one day. Maybe we'll see. It'll probably be a very long time from now, and it's just not a priority. So
yeah. No, I feel you. I feel you.
You know, it is a priority though.
Well,
God of War Ragnarok.
God of War Ragnarok,
yeah,
bro. Hey,
great
how
game.
would you feel of just focusing on video games for the rest of the podcast?
Do you want to?
I kind of feel like we should. Like, I feel like we kind of got into a groove here. We might want to switch topics and not do our regular ones today.
I mean, I'm down if you would like to.
Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's
we'll
go ahead and can it. We'll do this another day with Rianne.
Okay, sounds good.
When she's here.
What was the first video game you ever played? Do you remember? And how old were you?
First video game I ever played.
Also, are we live?
No,
okay.
we're not. We don't do it live anymore. We're just doing uploads.
Oh yeah.
Because we're just having too many issues with, it not streaming properly, or we'll have false starts or whatever the case may be. Yeah. So this kind of gives us a little more flexibility for that. And since I am running like two different accounts, Like this will enable us to just make things easier on my end.
Yeah.
So
You-
it's for selfish reasons. I'll just be honest with you.
No, you told me it just completely slipped my mind for a second, and in my head I had that thought of like, if we're doing this live and the title's already up, but we're talking about video games now, that's just gonna throw that might
exactly.
throw people off. So yeah. Anyways, first video game you ever played? How old were you?
I'm trying to think. Just give me a second. I think it was something on the Atari. I want to say it was Pitfall on the Atari. It's probably the first game I ever played.
This is where our age gap is showing, because I don't think I've ever heard of that. Like,
let me see if I can pull it up.
my first video game was Ratchet and Clank on the PlayStation 2. Actually, it was either Ratchet and Clank on the PlayStation 2 or it was Halo on the Xbox 360. Or not the Xbox 360. Just the
This
Xbox.
is definitely showing our age gap for sure.
I know, man.
So this is. Does it have some of the?
Whoa.
Yeah, bro. This is some of the beautiful gaming we used to have back in the day when we were younger.
The little 8-bit, yeah.
Yep.
I mean, I still play 8-bit games every once in a while.
Look at
I'll
that.
throw on Super Mario.
You had to jump on top of the alligators in order to get across, or you had to use these little vines to get across water pits. Yeah, it was called. I think it's called Pitfall from Activision.
But games like that are so fun. Like when you have those graphics of swinging.
Yeah.
Like, I remember playing stuff like that as a kid and being like, whoa, like my mind just totally blown.
Yeah.
Like even now when stuff like that, like all those game mechanics that are super impressive at that time. So
yeah.
now like with the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox Series X being out and the graphics are just totally mind blowing.
Yeah, and
It's
they're still they could still have a lot of room for improvement.
Yeah.
That's something that's really interesting.
6-7 years from now, when the PlayStation 6 and the Xbox, whatever they're going to call it, Xbox X, I don't know. The Y box. The Z box.
So like something that I think is really interesting, especially with the new Diablo 4 game that's going to be coming out soon, is the lighting is still very similar to how Diablo 2 was.
Mm-hmm.
Although the lighting, as far as like graphic wise, looks a lot better. They still haven't figured out light sourcing. So like if there is a fire on the ground, you don't see the reflection of the fire onto your character. Or like if there's a torch on the wall, like you don't see it passing like over your character, or like the shadow being passed like in conjunction to where the actual light source is coming from. So there's still like a lot of room for improvement as far as that's concerned.
Mm-hmm.
But man, like stuff looks so good nowadays.
Yeah.
Like so freaking good.
Would you say that the Diablo series, wow. Would you say that the Diablo series is your favorite video game series?
Ooh. Yes.
Yeah?
Probably Diablo 2. Lord of Destruction was probably my most favorite game of all time, for sure.
And what was it about that game that made it your favorite? Give me like a whole rundown.
Well, I think especially in comparison to all the games that are, being released today, is that there isn't a lot of hand holding. Like there isn't a lot of, here's the controls, here's the button to jump.
Like
jump
the whole
over this
tutorial
log.
phase.
Yeah, like there's no tutorial. They just drop you into the game and you can just go explore, like talk to the people in town, and then they'll give you a quest. Like there's not like a little thing hovering over their head saying, hey, there's a quest for you.
Mm-hmm.
So that was always really interesting. But there's still a lot of problems, with the game. And I think they're trying to fix a lot of those problems with Diablo 2 Resurrected. And I think they have fixed a lot of the issues. I think there's still definitely a lot of more room of improvement when it comes to like gem stacking and rune stacking, so that they don't like take up like it's not like a puzzle to try to figure out how to put your pieces of armor and stuff around everything. So like having a currency tab would certainly be a wonderful experience. More tabs to store more gear, so you don't have to have like tons and tons of guys that we call mules to hold equipment, because there's not a lot of space to put stuff in. In this particular game, it definitely has a propensity to encourage hoarding.
Yeah.
And so that's a lot of fun. And then as you like find better and better gear, like more gear gets sold and like thrown away and stuff. And so there's still a lot of stuff I don't like about it, and things I think can be improved, but I think for the most part, for its time, it was such a phenomenal game. It was such a cultural phenomenon at that point in time. I think Diablo 2 was definitely one of Blizzard's biggest games at the time, before World of Warcraft came out. Back in 99, I think, is when 2 came out, 2000, and then 01 came Lord of Destruction, the expansion. So yeah, I mean that's been my favorite game, and I haven't really experienced the game fully, and so I'm now kind of going back, and I'm starting to play what's called solo self-found, which is you don't play online, so you can't have a lot of people help you out to level your character for you, or get people give you gear or trade gear or anything like that. It is whatever you find is what you use, so it's a lot more difficult. And because of the drop rates, which are astronomically low, you have to grind a lot. You have to put a lot of hours in it to get a good character geared up. And so playing it through that way definitely gives more of a sense of accomplishment, where games like Diablo 3, you get your 6-piece, ancient sets, like, tens of thousands of like damage boosts, and you can just rock through the game like after playing it for 8 hours. Like it just doesn't feel good, honestly. So I mean, there's a lot of things that are good and bad about it, but those are the things that come to mind. I hope I answered your question. I kind of went on a tangent. So.
No, I mean that's what I wanted though, is to get like your whole thoughts on like why a game is your favorite game.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, there's so many different aspects to it. Some people like a game because they want to experience the story that is driving it. Some people play it simply because they like the graphics.
Yeah.
Others are just in it for the gameplay. Others are in it because they have a combination of things. So,
yeah.
Yeah,
it's definitely a combination of things. I mean, the storyline's really good as well. But I think what makes it unique is that the drop rates are so low. So when you do get that really good piece of gear and it rolls really high, like on the enhanced damage or how many skills you can get, it feels so good. Like you get such a huge rush when you get it. And so it's not like it's where games nowadays are prepped for people to keep people's attention like every 30 seconds to 60 seconds, where this game you're grinding for hours before you get like a really good piece of gear.
Yeah, but I mean, like, that's kind of how it works now though too, is because our attention spans are so short. So it's like you need to put like a loot chest or something in a place where you have to go and look for it, but it only takes like 10 seconds to go and find it.
Yeah.
So
yeah, so there's a lot of interesting aspects about it that I really, really enjoy. There's a lot of things I like about Diablo 3, but I feel like it's such a broken game at this point.
Yeah.
But they're hopefully going to remedy a lot of this stuff, because they've kind of figured out if they want to make a game that has a lot of longevity, as far as like keeping people interested and people coming back, they got to keep up with bringing out more content, more consistent content, and like have seasons. Like they have to have like a battle pass. And that's something that people really don't understand. It's like it's really difficult to have a game and to keep evolving it without more money coming in.
Yeah, that's kind of Destiny did the same thing, or is still doing the same thing. I mean, like
I don't know. I never got into Destiny.
It's kind of I mean, like you ever play Halo? Or
yeah.
So it's very similar to Halo. To anybody that's watching this and be like, oh no, it's not. Like go ahead, come at me, because I didn't
Fight
play.
me.
I didn't play a whole lot of either one, so you can fight me on that as much as you want.
Yeah.
But no, Destiny is more like a they continue adding stuff on to the experience because it's such a vast and diverse game that like instead of making like a Destiny 3, because there's 2 out right now, there's Destiny 1 and 2.
Yeah.
So, and instead of adding Destiny 3, they're just continuing to add on to what they have, which for what the game is and how it works great.
Yeah.
From what I've seen, like I haven't seen a whole lot of people complaining about it. Granted, like you win some, you lose some. It's going to have its pros and cons, but like still.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I do appreciate games like that just continue to add on to it rather than just coming out with a whole new game. But
yeah, and the only way they can do that is if they sell more copies of the game, or they create an expansion that you have to download or purchase or buy, and sell that for money, or have like in-game like cosmetics or skins that'll also increase revenue, or have like a battle pass if they have like some kind of reoccurring end-game content where you can replay the game, or different aspects of the game where you have like kind of like arenas where you do like teams like 3v3 or something like that,
right.
And then each season you do a new season, you get new, everybody starts at 0 and everybody starts a new rating and stuff like that. And so that's the only way to keep games like that going. That's the only reason that Fortnite has done so well and has kept going on for so long. It is such a crazy game. I
hate Fortnite.
I'm not a fan of it.
I'm sorry.
First
Epic
person
Games,
shooters though. I'm not a big proponent of first person shooters.
Well, technically Fortnite's a third person. It's a
first person shooter, but yes, in retrospect it is like you're in third person. But
battle royales
battle
in general,
royales, yeah.
And battle royales in general, I don't really care for that much. I did play Apex pretty competitively for a little while. I was on a huge grind with that game for months and months for the first like 2 or 3 seasons, and after that I was like, battle royales are just not that fun. So, yeah. But I mean, like Titanfall 2, Call of Modern Warfare, I like those games. Those are pretty fun because you die and then you come back after like 5 seconds. So I mean, I don't have to feel stupid when I've done like a whole 30 minutes of running around trying to find the best equipment that I can for myself, and then dying after. So I mean,
yeah. I think I could probably get into a first person shooter, but it's like more of like a storytelling kind of game.
Far Cry.
Far Cry. I think Afterlife is a really good example of that, where it's kind of like a first person shooter, but it's like, solving puzzles. Like I think Myst was one of the first games that really started that kind of genre of first person puzzle, first person shooter / puzzle, solving kind of game.
Yeah. Skyrim's a great first person. It's not really a shooter, but I mean it's still a great first person game.
Yeah.
But I also think that's because of like the amount of depth there is with that game.
Yeah.
There's just so much going on.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Far Cry series is really good. I love the Far Cry games.
I heard Last of Us was really good too.
Last of Us.
That wasn't the first person shooter, was it? Like
it's a survival game.
It's like a survival game.
It's a story driven, like it is a shooter, but it's at its core it's a survival game.
Yeah.
Because it's like one of those where you kind of have to hunt and look for supplies, and every bullet does make a difference. So I mean, like, sometimes I just won't even use bullets. I'll just like pick up a brick or something, throw it at somebody, and then go beat the shit out of them, and that's how I'll make it through the game. But no, The Last of Us was actually still is in probably my top 5 favorite games, for sure. They came up with Last of Us in 2013, and then Last of Us Part 2 came out in 2020. But yeah, great games. Love both of them. After I'm done replaying through God of War and God of War Ragnarok, I'll probably go back and play Last of Us. So, I mean, yeah.
Yeah, I hear nothing but good things of like Last of Us.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, I might. Well, this is like, with I'm trying to think of like different things I can do with my gaming channel, and I do want to dedicate myself to one game.
Yeah.
As far as like something that's going to be, prolonged playthrough for many, many times. But I think it might be good to take breaks here and there to kind of like introduce like one game that you would play, do like a playthrough for like 20 or 30 hours or whatever. And it's just like all mostly story driven, but maybe there's some cool aspects of the game that you do certain different things in it, but it's mostly just about playing through the story. I think I would want to play more of those. And I think I'm kind of in a point in my life where I think that would be interesting to be able to play games like on and off where you just play through the story and you're done with the game and then you can move on with your life instead of these lifer games that you have to keep playing.
Yeah. So just looking at your screen, I can see an image of The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt. Did you ever play that game?
I did not.
Okay. That game, if you want like a story-driven game, but also like has quite a bit of grinding in it, The Witcher 3 is amazing.
So you can grind, or you can just pretty much play through the story?
Yeah, I mean, like grinding is definitely recommended because it helps you upgrade your gear, so that way you can move on to the next level. Because I mean, like where missions will have like recommended levels. That you got to play at. So, like for me, if I'm on like level 5 and the next mission is at level 6, I'll want to go and maybe do a couple side missions to get my level up and get my gear in a place where I can take that on,
Okay. Oh, it's now on Switch.
Yeah, it's on the Switch. It's on PC. Yeah, I actually have it on both the Switch and my PS4. So.
That's exciting.
Yeah, honestly, The Witcher 3 is also probably in my top 5 favorite video games of all time. Now that
Is it on like Steam or Epic Games?
It's
or
on
something
Steam.
Like that?
It's on Steam. Or when I had it on my PlayStation, it was on Steam. So
okay.
Or my PC.
I know what you meant.
Yeah.
That one console that isn't considered a console.
Yeah. No, but this is like this is the game. This is one of the games that got Henry Cavill into The Witcher.
Yeah.
So, I mean...
Also a big World of Warcraft player.
Yeah. I would say that he takes inspiration... Like, his voice in The Witcher series on Netflix, it sounds like he takes inspiration from this Geralt in the video game.
That's exciting.
Yeah.
I like it.
So... Yeah, I think you would really like The Witcher 3. Like, I compare it all the time to stuff like Lord of the Rings and all that kind of stuff. But, like, it's just one of those big open world games, and there's so much to do to the point where it's kind of overwhelming. You'll never really get tired of it. You could play it for, like, I have hundreds of hours into this game. But...
yeah, I'm not looking for hundreds of hours. Like I already,
you don't have to.
I'm playing Diablo 2 Resurrected right now for single player self-found. That's gonna put me definitely into hundreds of hours of time. Yeah. So I'm looking for a game I can spend maybe 20 to 30 hours and
God of War
done with it. God of War. Okay.
You can get God of War on the PC actually.
Okay.
Right now you can get God of War on the PC. God of War Ragnarok will come out on the PC in a year. So
I should get that game when it comes out. Is that what you're saying?
Yes. I'd say play God of War now. And yeah, God of War is very much story driven. The gameplay, oh my goodness. I love the gameplay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see if I can see some gameplay. I don't think we'll get in trouble for seeing some gameplay.
No, like you can do like E3 God of War. Yeah, like pull up the God of War E3.
Oh, E3 specifically?
Yeah, that was a pretty good introduction to the game. It got everybody hyped when they reintroduced it. Because everybody saw Kratos come out. Like Kratos is the main character. everybody saw him and everyone was just insane.
Wow, bro, there's like almost 3 hours of this.
This is God of War Ragnarok.
See, like this scene is really good because you can actually see the light from the fire.
Yeah.
Because if you notice, like this is stuff that I think is really important, especially when it comes to like not only cinematics but also with gameplay.
Mm-hmm.
But as you can see, looking at him from here, see how his hands are much brighter.
Yes.
Than like his skin. You can see the shadows from his actual clothes here.
The details are phenomenal.
Yeah, like lighting detail is really, really important to make you believe even more in what you're seeing.
It feels as real as it can be for a video game.
Yeah, so we'll just let this play for a minute in the background while we talk a little bit.
The music for this for these games is, oh my goodness. Bear McCreary. Are you familiar with him?
I am not.
He actually did the music for C.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, and he does the music for this game too.
It's such a great series.
Mm-hmm. Haven't finished it completely yet. I only have a couple episodes left in season 3. So
yeah, I think Rhiannon and I were waiting until the last couple of episodes came out before finishing it. I think we still need to finish it as well.
Yeah, so this is the sequel after the first game in 2018. But I like the fur coat that he's got going on too.
And I think a lot of the times they do to get these different characters to look very lifelike, and especially the movements and stuff, is to put people in capturing, screen capturing like suits.
Yeah.
So they have like different wire points to make people look more fluid when they. So they basically have actors in suits play the characters in basically like a warehouse or whatever, and they act out all of these parts.
Yeah.
And then they just input that information, but catching their facial features and stuff like that.
So the foundation of God of War is the relationship between these two.
Okay.
Between the first game and this game, like their relationship is a huge driving part of the story. Because in the first game, Kratos is kind of learning how to be a father, because his wife just died, his mom just died, and that's where it takes place, is after that. So Kratos is learning how to be a father, and now in this game, their relationship is more established, and they're working together phenomenally as a team. But they're still like, in the first game he was a little kid, and now in this game he's more of a teenager. So they've got that whole dynamic going on.
Do they have dire wolves pulling the sled?
I don't know if they're necessarily they are wolves. I don't know if they're necessarily like dire wolves, but
okay. So I say they look big enough to ride, so that's when I go dire wolf.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, that looks great.
Yeah, it's phenomenal.
That looks impressive.
And the thing is, like the graphics for the gameplay is the same.
Is the same?
It's the same. Literally, if you just fast forward like to wherever they have gameplay going on, like here, it's the same. Jacob's just enjoying himself watching it now, and he has okay. So
I already see some issues here. So for some strange reason, I don't understand why video games do this a lot, but if you notice, there seems to be a light source coming off of the character.
Yeah, it's because he has a light source.
Oh, he actually has like a jewel or something that shines like a...
Yeah, so
I see it. It's on his leg. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I was looking confused because it seemed like most games do this, but they don't have something on the character that makes sense to have a light source.
Yeah. I've seen that a lot too, and it's funny because then you like turn the camera and the light will like go in all these different directions, but you can very much see that it's still pointing. Like,
yeah, but that's cool that it actually has an item that makes sense for light sourcing. But, But I've seen so many games put light sources like that, but there's no reason why there should be.
He even acknowledges it at some point in the game where like it gets taken away from him, and he's like, "I was using that for light." Like, so he acknowledges it. So
That's
yeah.
cool.
No, but like
it looks really good though.
My
Looks really
favorite like little detail in the mechanics in the game is you can throw the axe that he uses. You can throw it, and then you can call it back to you.
Like a whole like Thor kind of thing. Like
Yes.
you're just like Mjolnir, come.
Yes, exactly. You can throw the axe at enemies, and then you can call it right back to you.
That is a cool mechanic.
It's so satisfying.
That is a very cool mechanic.
Yeah.
I think anybody who likes Marvel stuff would like that.
Yeah.
Or any kind of mythos when it comes to
I mean, it's
Norse mythology. So
it is a real thing in Norse mythology, and Thor actually does come up in God of War Ragnarok. He is one of the antagonists in the game.
Oh, okay.
So
cool.
Yeah, that's one of the things that because you know me, I'm a big Norse mythology geek, and
Yes.
this game is very like loyal to legit Norse mythology. So
Excellent.
because you know how like in the Marvel movies they make Odin like this very loving, kind father. That's not true at all. Odin's low-key a piece of shit. And Thor is supposed to be like, you know, he's a hero, he's kind. No, Thor is an asshole. Like, yeah.
That's funny.
But yeah. No, Ryan Hurst, are you familiar with who that is?
The name sounds familiar.
He plays Opie in Sons of Anarchy.
Yes.
Yeah, that's who's playing Thor in this game.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
I like that. There's
Yeah.
so many games.
I know, dude. Oh my goodness. Freaking love God of War, dude.
We seriously do need to go back and have like a bunch of like good games of just like playing through story. Like
Yeah.
give a good, you know, I don't know, 15, 20 hours. Just good solid story.
Uncharted. The Uncharted games are great with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's solely like they're story-driven games, but it's very much like National Treasure-esque almost.
Oh, yeah.
Like Indiana Jones kind of deal. It's like history based. They're looking for treasure kind of stuff. I know Tom Holland was in he was in an Uncharted movie that was based off of the video games, which a lot of people hated. I thought it was actually pretty decent. It was a fun movie. Wasn't anything exciting, but it was
Best
fun.
story mode games for PC. Just curious what they're going to say here. Wolf Among Us, Guardians of the Galaxy, Walking Dead, Walking Dead Season 2, Life is Strange 2,
Those
Deadpool.
are like story games.
Yeah.
Not really much gameplay, more as just like making decisions and watching cutscenes.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's kind of what I was... I mean, yeah.
This is right up your alley then.
Yeah. This
The Walking Dead is a huge thing with that. Oh, Deadpool. The Deadpool video game is actually so fun.
I don't know. It might be too much for...
Probably not for streaming, but it's still...
Yeah. But
I love the Deadpool video game. So I think it's so much fun, but...
Guardians of the Galaxy. It looks very cartoonish, very child...
I never played the Guardians of the Galaxy game. I played Wolf Among Us years ago when it first came out.
Yeah.
It was actually pretty good.
Yeah. I mean, not like just like I'm watching a movie and I'm just clicking decisions. I mean, that kind of seems kind of boring. But
I think that's kind of what those games are.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I definitely need a good blend, but something I don't have to put like hundreds of hours in.
Yeah. That's
like
fair.
maybe max 50 hours.
God of War.
Like enough hours where you got to go and find some gear and defeat some side stuff in order to progress, and then yeah.
God of War.
Yeah.
I think every time you talk about like a story-driven game and like that kind of in my head, my brain is just going back to God of War.
Oh,
like that's really
bro.
it.
Have you seen the new Harry Potter?
Yeah, that actually looks kind of fun.
Bro,
The
Hogwarts Legacy.
This is supposed to be an MMO, isn't it?
I don't know if it's necessarily supposed to be an MMO, but I don't know. Have you seen a lot of the stuff on it?
Not really. Honestly, I saw a little bit of gameplay and I was kind of like, whatever. But I'm also a big Harry Potter fan, so I mean, maybe I might pick it up and.
So
We'll
official
see.
gameplay trailer's not too long, but just kind of pop through here.
As well as challenging puzzles that will require magical skill and a clever mind to solve.
But I mean, it just looks absolutely incredible.
You may even find yourself in iconic
The graphics look absolutely great. There's some customization when it comes to the characters, but not a ton. Like, it looks like they spent most of their time on the aesthetics.
You're a school student with a uniform, so it's like you can only get so much, you know?
Yeah, exactly. But like just this opening sequence is just...
It looks phenomenal.
It just looks absolutely incredible.
Yeah.
And so I kind of wonder if it's more story-driven or not.
I mean...
And it could be. But look at Hogwarts looks phenomenal.
I'll be honest. Most of the video games that I play I usually play a lot of video games for the story, and I do hope that the gameplay is like decent.
Yeah.
Because if it's just one of those like wave your wand and a spell comes out, then it's kind of like, well, I mean, you know, been there, done that, seen it.
Yeah.
Like, granted, it's Harry Potter, so I haven't seen it in a Harry Potter setting yet, other than like the PlayStation 2 Harry Potter game.
But it looks great.
Yeah. Okay. So there is some customization as to like, you know, the hair, typical stuff like that.
Yeah. But
can you choose your house? I would hope that you can choose your house.
But it like gives you like a quick walkthrough of the different common areas.
Yeah.
Like, that looks like so freaking crazy good.
Yeah. Do you know what house you would be if you were in this world?
I don't know. If I was in the Harry Potter world, I don't know.
Would you be Slytherin?
How would you figure that out?
I'm sure there are quizzes online. No, I'm just kidding.
Let's do it. Harry Potter.
So there's Pottermore. Pottermore is the quiz that everybody takes, and it's like an interactive kind of
Pottermore quiz.
Yeah.
My computer did my computer just freeze?
I don't know. It might have.
Are we still recording?
We might be. I don't know. I hope so.
I think maybe just my browser crashed.
Oh, that's awkward.
Oops.
Whoopsies. You do have a lot of tabs open. I don't know if that would have anything to do with it, but
yeah, I've been going through a lot of different stuff. I think it just crashed.
Yeah.
Let's see if I can open Task Manager and tell it to stop really quick.
Wait, excuse us while we're experiencing some
technical difficulties.
If we're gonna be watching stuff, though, I think you should watch the God of War 2018 trailer.
I just asked it to restore, and it didn't restore.
That's awkward.
All of my tabs crashed.
Yikes.
Oops.
If only there was a recently closed tab.
Is there? I don't know.
Well, I mean, my computer has like a recently closed, or like just in my history, it'll have like a recently closed. Is it under
history?
So if you go to history, there might be like a recently
closed.
Yeah.
How do I restore all these?
Usually it should say just restore recently closed tabs or something like that. I don't know.
If I just click on it?
There you go.
Hey!
Sweet.
Yeah, let me close some.
I was going to say, you've got quite a bit.
I have a few open.
Don't mind us while
yeah.
Jacob is closing
out. So should I take the Harry Potter quiz, or should I go... How fast is it? Is it pretty fast?
It takes a minute. Let's watch the God of War 2018 trailer first.
Okay.
I think every time that I've taken the Harry Potter quiz, I've gotten Slytherin.
Really?
Yeah, I've always gotten Slytherin.
Huh.
Actually, that's not true. My first time taking it, I got...
Sorry, what am I looking for again?
God of War 2018 trailer.
War 2018 trailer.
My first time taking the quiz, I got Hufflepuff because I didn't answer one of the questions in time.
Is it God of War 4?
Yeah, it's technically God of War 4.
Okay. So that's pretty quick. We can watch that.
Minions? I don't know there were minions in this game. It's new to me.
No, it's just an intro. But that's pretty crazy. Yo, that still looks pretty good for 2018.
Yeah. Well, I mean, this is like a cinematic trailer. This isn't like the gameplay trailer.
Whoa.
My son, we do not fight because the world makes us fight.
Wait, did that arrow like break through a tree?
We fight for a greater purpose.
That's some serious power.
We forge into the unknown to fulfill the promise we made.
Like, I love the hack and slash stuff.
Then you'll like this game.
Yeah. Like, adventure games seem pretty awesome.
Nothing will stand in our way.
Damn.
Again.
Yeah, you would like this game. You would really like this game.
Damn.
I think even
That was
like
a great trailer.
even like I think so. This is actually one of those games that they call them backseat gamers. So like girlfriends watching their significant others play. Like I think Rianne would actually like the story that's in this game.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Okay.
definitely.
That might be my next game.
Do it.
That's an ad. Let's try this button. I love it when like websites try to trick you. And they're like, there's a start button here. There's a start quiz here. It's like, which one is it? So is it not working?
I don't know. I haven't taken this one yet.
Wizarding Home? Harry Potter quiz? Is this not the right one?
This doesn't look like the Pottermore. Here, it might be either Pottermore or Wizarding World. One of those two.
But that doesn't look like it. That's the one.
Yeah, that doesn't look like it. It's supposed to be like a very decorated and like detailed website.
Wizardingworld.com?
Yep, this is it.
Hey, we're here. Quizzes.
Let's find out what J. Rhymes'
Wait.
Hogwarts house is.
Hogwarts sorting. I'm guessing that's the one.
Yeah.
No, I don't want to.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, is there one that I don't have to sign up
That's
for?
a good question. Let me look.
Or did I already sign up for this one? Maybe I already signed up for this
You
one.
might have. I don't know.
Wouldn't it be funny?
Account not found.
I think Rianne made me sign up for something. We couldn't find the email. All right, I'll sign up. Whatever.
Really quick as we do it.
Why not?
Why not?
Yeah,
Might as well have an account in the Harry Potter world. Why not?
I need more spam in my folders, so why not?
Yeah.
Looks like you already have an email address.
So I guess you did.
So I guess I did take this quiz with Rianne at some point.
At some point.
Already a member. Forgot password.
Wild.
All right, let's
Forget your password. And
let's
see
forget
what you
my
do
password
have.
and see how this works. Or I guess I'll have to open my email really quick, huh?
Yeah, probably.
Excuse us, everybody, while we do something fun and silly today.
Oopsies.
Stop it.
Stop it. Oh my gosh, stop.
Stop it. All right, it's only good for 24 hours, so let's reset it now while we're still here. New password.
I was going to say, I'll forget after 24 hours.
All right, let's do that. Okay, reset. Let's log in. I bet I'm going to get like I bet I'm a Ravenclaw.
I was going to say, I feel like that might be what you are.
All right, let's try.
You're either
this.
a Ravenclaw or you're Hufflepuff.
Yeah. I don't think there's too many people that it really classify. Create your portrait. No, we don't want to do that. Learn more. Where's? Yep, I was putting Ravenclaw. I have a ragdoll cat Patronus
Oh my goodness.
with a holly wand, apparently.
You know what's weird? Is I'm a Slytherin.
Already did this, but it's funny.
So I'm in Slytherin, but my Patronus is a lion.
Really?
Yeah, it's weird.
Yeah, that seems very contradictory when it
I
comes
know.
to the houses.
I know, because lion's supposed to be Gryffindor's like house sigil, but then you have freaking. I don't know. It's just weird to me. Like I was like, why am I in Slytherin? But like, my Patronus is a lion.
Yeah, I
It's
feel like what would be
weird.
more appropriate for me is probably a dog
I think so
or some kind of
too.
wolf, because wolves can be very loyal and very friendly and very loving. But then if you put me in a corner, oh, you better watch out.
Better not cry either.
Better not cry either. Why?
Well, better not pout, because I'm telling you why.
Santa Claus.
No,
is
it's too
coming
it's too
to
early.
town.
It's too early for that. I regret my decisions immediately.
I totally forgot that I took the test already.
That's funny.
That is funny.
Um,
So Ravenclaw with a ragdoll cat. That doesn't make sense to me.
wild.
I figured out, yeah. I still think. But a lion? For you?
I feel like a
I don't
golden,
know.
I feel like a golden retriever or something would make sense for me. Like
Yeah, I would think dog for you would make sense.
I agree. I feel like if I actually did, if I was in this world and I had a Patronus, it would probably be like a golden retriever. So
Ooh, maybe a bear. Maybe my Patronus would be a bear.
a bear.
Yeah.
You're picking all the cool ones.
a big bear. I don't know. I'm just making it up as I go along.
Yeah.
So, what was the first video game for you that defined yourself as somebody that's going to continue to play video games for the rest of your life?
Oh, dude. Honestly, when I was a kid, I remember going over to my best friend's house and he had a PlayStation 2. Not like one of the thin ones, like one of the really thick boys.
Yeah, the PS1.
Yeah, he had
the
a
OG.
Well, yeah, I did play the PS1 for a little bit, but the first console that I ever played on as a kid was the PlayStation 2, and I think I was like 4 or 5 years old.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I was a little kid. But we were playing like Ratchet and Clank, and I would go over to his house and we would just play that game for hours, and that's just like it kept us out of trouble. So I mean, yeah, I mean, like we would play that game, and then there were some other weekends where I would go over to another friend's house, and we would play Halo on the Xbox for quite a few hours. But I remember being more drawn to Ratchet and Clank just because I don't know. There's just something about like the whole action and adventure aspect of it.
Yeah.
That got me really into the games like that. I actually didn't get my own console until I was about 14 or 15, and I got the PlayStation 3. And I was addicted to games like the Infamous games, Infamous 1 and 2. Those were phenomenal. Loved those games. The Uncharted games. Oh, Tomb Raider.
Oh, Tomb Raider.
Dude.
PS1 Tomb Raider, bro. The block booby. Sorry.
Yeah, and then like PlayStation 3 it came out with their version of.
Let me see if I can get some screenshots of that.
Yeah.
That.
No, but even like now when they have the new Tomb Raider games coming out, I'm always into them, and I'm always gonna play them because I freaking love the Lara Croft Tomb Raider games, dude.
Bro.
Oh man, yeah, that's it,
Bro.
Yep.
Look at this.
There it is. Oh man,
Look how blocky the nose was back then, bro.
oh my goodness.
And it was actually a really good game for its time.
It was, dude.
Yeah, it had a lot. Yeah, look at all these awards it got.
Yeah.
90% plus, 5 out of 5, 94%, 10 out of 10.
I feel like Tomb Raider was one of those like, it was one of those games that paved the way for story-driven adventure games.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. Like because of Tomb Raider, we now have games like God of War, like Uncharted, like
Yeah.
The Last of Us, even.
Yeah.
Um,
And I don't
yeah.
know what was the first action adventure game.
Good question. Probably. Actually, no. I feel like Legend of Zelda was probably one of those games that paved the way for a lot of action and adventure type of games. Wikipedia, very, very reliable source nowadays. Are you just looking up like what was the first action adventure video game?
Yeah, technically, this is saying Brett Weiss's cites Atari Superman 1979 as action adventure game.
You said 1976?
79.
79, my bad.
Yeah. For the Atari. And actually, interesting thing about Atari is the Atari was not the first console invented. There was actually another console that was invented. It was actually invented by a black engineer who's the first person to ever create the cartridge swapping system.
Okay.
And basically what Atari did was went, that's a great idea, and made their own. And completely demolished it. And what was really interesting is that when it was first created, it was created just like to get simple games, kind of like Pong and stuff like that, into people's homes. And then Atari just kind of beat it out with all of its, big, huge titles and stuff like that. It's kind of a sad story. What was his name? Who invented the first cartridge?
Looking up some history fact checking here.
Yeah, I saw it on. I can't remember what the series is called, but it's a series on Netflix. Yes, this is him, Jerry Lawson.
Jerry,
Lawson
son of
was his
law.
name. He's an American electronics engineer known for his work in designing. 1976 implemented the biggest, most notable innovation, which is the cartridge. The ability to swap out different titles in one console, which was groundbreaking at the time.
Yeah, I mean, still, I remember seeing like the consoles as a kid in Walmart, where you could get like the Sonic video games, hook them up to the TV, and that was all you could play was just that one Sonic video game or whatever game that it was at the time.
Where is he with this system, though? Is
I
this
don't know.
it? The Video Entertainment System. The VES was the first console swapping system. And he made it with a couple of controllers and a console system.
Okay.
Isn't that
Cool.
awesome?
Yeah. Cool.
That's
Thank
some
you.
interesting
Thank you.
history stuff.
Thank you, Jerry. Because of you, we now have video games like or video game consoles like the PlayStation and the Switch and Xbox. Like,
without him, you'd have to buy God of War on a whole system.
whole system, dude. Imagine the
Could you
money.
Imagine,
the money, bro.
Yeah. Like hundreds of dollars just to play one game on one console.
I know.
And pray to God that it's good.
Pray to the God of War. That God of War is good.
Now, what are your feelings on games as of late? I know that there's been kind of a struggle with video games over the last, I want to say probably 10 years. It's been kind of difficult with video games because it kind of seems like the idea of releasing of a game complete, like, on release is kind of like has gone away. And it's more or less like release a game that has some features and then implement stuff as things go on. What has been your experience in the different games that you've? Because I know Apex Legends was one of those games where they made a lot of promises and they did a lot of Kickstarters and everything, and they got a lot of money, and the game looks beautiful, but they didn't quite get everything that was promised until much later on.
So when you bring that up, I mean, my mind kind of goes to the more recent games of like Anthem and
Anthem. Maybe that's the game I was thinking of.
Anthem and Cyberpunk 2077.
Yeah.
Because first of all, when it comes to companies saying like we're going to be releasing this game a little bit late, in my head I'm like, you know what? All for it. Do what you got to do. Release it as late as you need. Give the artists time to be artists, and be creative, and give us a game that they have put 100% of their effort into. Don't give us a game that has like a shit ton of bugs and is just not ready to be released. If you need to extend the wait time and you need to push back the release date, push back the release date. That is totally fine. I am 100% fine with that. Because Anthem did that. The game honestly sucks. Like, but like when they hyped it up, it looked amazing. Like it looked so good, and then it came out. Everybody who bought the game was so disappointed.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
Cyberpunk came out, and everybody who has it on like the PlayStation 5 or the Xbox Series X or on a PC, it's fine. Everybody that has it on the PlayStation 4 or just on an Xbox One, it's good luck. It's not that great. But I mean, yeah, like really, if studios need more time to release the game and all that, like take your time, take all the time you need. So
yeah, I think that's a great rule of thought when it comes to releasing music albums. I think we've kind of gotten away from making good albums and instead, writing, 1 or 3 or 5, half-ass decent, one-hit wonders, and then throwing a bunch of crap just to kind of fill up the rest of the time. A
lot of that is due to managers and studios, though. Those are usually not. That's to no fault of the artist. The artist will usually have like their vision and their idea, so from what I've seen. But then, like once the manager or their agents in the studio will get involved, it's like, well, we just need to do what we can to get this, or like they'll have an idea that they think is way better than the artists. And yeah.
That's definitely part of the reason. I think creative control needs to be put back into the artist's hands, and they need 100%. To create until it's done. Like I think something that's really important is that, when it's really funny how they try to keep these artists like on a schedule where like, at the beginning of the year, they take 30 days, they go write 50 songs, they jam, hopefully 8 or 10 of them onto an album, and then they go and tour on it for, 6, 7, 8 months. And then they go back into the studio again. It's like, that doesn't like make any sense. Like the only band that reasonably seemed to be able to do that was the Beatles. And that was because they had 4 writers. But reasonably nowadays, that's not very reasonable. We don't have, bands that have like 4 writers in one super group like the Beatles did.
Yeah.
So it's pretty rare to see that.
It's really hard to find like 3 to 5 guys that all have creative, that don't have creative differences.
Yeah.
That can all agree on one thing.
Yeah.
Because like, one guy's going to have one idea, and then another is going to have a whole different idea. And then there is no compromise. It clashes. It's more of like a competition within the business now, rather than like artists trying to be artists,
Yeah.
So
what do they say was the last thing a drummer said before he was fired? Hey guys, I have a song.
Wow.
That's the ongoing joke I hear.
Oh my goodness.
From the music industry. But yeah, like part of it is it's kind of difficult because I think there's so many people that have a difficult time setting aside their ego and just focusing on creating not only something that's going to be good, but also creating parts for that good piece that complement the song, rather than, well, I need to get my piece in there because I should have a say.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I think I don't know if it's a generational thing, or maybe younger people just kind of feel like they should be just given everything, or everything that they do is always roses. But it kind of seems like there's something going on in that. It's difficult for people to kind of set aside creative differences and just produce what's good for that song, rather than, well, I have an idea and I think because I'm a part of the band, I should have this piece, put into that song, or written this way, or this particular lick, or this particular drum roll, or whatever the case may be.
Rather than like, hey, I have an idea. Let's try it, see if it works. If not, cool. Let's try something else.
Yeah. But I think that a lot of times, at least from what I've heard from different artists that have been on, like, let's say the Joe Rogan show, he's had a lot of different artists on there. And it seems like when it comes to group creativity and creating music as a group, that's not really how music is created anymore. Like, we've kind of lost that kind of group think, that kind of group mentality of, let's make this the best that it possibly can. Let's get everybody's input on it. Nowadays, it's just usually the song creator or songwriter will bring a piece that has already been kind of loosely created. Maybe you have a riff, or maybe you have a riff and a chorus, and like maybe you need to put down some verses or whatever. And they're like, hey, this is kind of how I have the flow here. Let's kind of add parts to it instead of trying to come up with something together. I think a lot of times people probably just sit in a room for days on end and just have nothing. So,
yeah. I mean, I listened to Joe Rogan's podcast where he had the Black Keys come on. And
yes, that was a good one.
Yeah, and with those guys, it's just the two of them.
Yeah.
And they work so well together because first of all, they're best friends. So it's like they already have an idea of what it is that they want. So I mean, like, I kind of feel like the less people that you have in a band, like the more creative freedom you guys are going to have, because you can kind of just work it out between the two of you, rather than just like being in a circle of four guys and you're all just like, no, like having the whole argument. Because getting into a band argument with all four of the guys, you ever been in one of those? Oh my goodness.
Oh yeah.
They're so chaotic. Well. They're so chaotic.
It never ends well.
So draining. They never end well. You're right. Oh my goodness. But like versus just like if it's just you and one other person, I mean, you got plenty of space to figure it out,
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and I think being in a band where I played in dive bars, I played at in small venues like maybe 100 people. I've also played in larger venues which could fit thousands of people. And I've had basically two different bands other than just me going solo and just doing acoustic stuff. And if I did it all over again, I probably wouldn't do too much collaborative stuff, just because it seems like, I mean, it probably would have to be the right person. Like, I feel like if you and me started a band together, I think we could be more collaborative. But I'm just saying, like, the individuals that I worked with last time, the collaboration did not work very well. It was too much of, oh no, we should just do it like this because, my past experiences. And I'm like, yeah, but I want to keep it like this because that's how the song goes, kind of deal. And then the dynamic of also having other songwriters as well is kind of difficult, especially when you're trying to portray a certain sound or flow or a certain way of doing it to kind of keep a specific sound throughout all of the songs. I think you lose a lot of that when you give too much creative control with other people that have a different way of looking at it.
And that's a big factor and problem too, because I think that bands like a 4-piece band, I think everybody should be helping write the song, because if you just have one person writing the song, then it's their song. It's not the band's, it's theirs, featuring the rest of the other guys, you know?
Yeah.
So that's kind of like when, like if a band has a song and they feature an artist on the song, like the artist and like maybe they didn't write the song with them, but they're featured on it because they're adding to it, you know?
Yeah.
Versus a band in and of itself. I think everybody should be contributing and writing. So, I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
So,
I guess if you're starting fresh, you don't have any material, and you just got, you know, the 3 guys that you decided you want to work with. I think that makes sense.
And like definitely, if you have a lyricist that's like solid in writing lyrics, because I mean, lyrics are hard. They can be really hard to come up with.
Yeah, and I'm a simpleton when it comes to lyrics. Like if you read my lyrics, you go, okay, this is very simple, very very easy and pleasing on the ear. It's not very deep. You know, I mean, it's very general in a lot of ways, but it's not very deep. It's very skin deep.
Yeah, but it's kind of like everybody needs to have their own job, but you all need to be like working collectively, collaboratively on it. You know?
Yeah, yeah. And I think if somebody does have an idea, you know, try it out and be like, well, it doesn't really help along the song, or it doesn't feel like it goes with it, or whatever the case may be.
Is it adding to the song, or is it taking anything away? So,
or does it need to be added?
Yeah,
you know,
is it necessary?
Exactly, and so. And so in my experience, especially the previous band I was with and the group that I was with, I had one way, like kind of my idea of how I wanted it to go. But as soon as we added the other pieces, it became something else. And not that it was bad. Like I didn't think it was bad the way that it turned out. I thought some of the stuff that came out of it was pretty good. But it kind of lost in collaborating so much to where other people decided that other things were better, and I was just like, I didn't think that it was really that good. The other input. And it's not because it's like, oh well, I need to do it the way I want to do it. It's like, yeah, but it doesn't really add to the song. It doesn't really add, it doesn't give it any more depth or anything. It's just kind of like, I don't know. But I think that they also go through that when it comes to video games. Like, you know,
no way to bring it back.
Yeah, because like I wanted to go back down that rabbit hole because that's where I have the most experience with in comparison with working with a video game. And I'm sure they do that with music as well. But I'm sure that they struggle with that. Most video games are going to take 3, 5, 7, 8 years for it to even to come out because they have so many people working on it. They have so many people with different ideas and different viewpoints, different aspects to the game that they feel like it can make it better or worse. Yeah. And then trying to come up with, okay, which ones are the best ones, and then moving forward on that to the point where that gets implemented into a game.
Yeah. So, I'm going to be talking about God of War a lot.
I love it. No, keep going.
God of War was one of those games that was so successful that they released a documentary that they had like prepared for it as they were making the game.
Oh, wow.
So they had interviews with the voice actors, with the creative director, and just showed the whole journey. And it's crazy because like they really wanted this game to be super successful, right? But they were struggling so much, and they did have to push it back. They had to push back the release date quite a bit. But after like the amount of work that they put in, it's now like one of the most successful games of today's generation. Like
and that's the first God of War?
It's the one that came out in 2018.
Oh, okay.
I don't really know too much about the God of Wars that came out in the early 2000s.
Gotcha.
I don't know much about those games, but yeah, there's just so much that they had to work around, just with between bugs, between staff that were just not making it in the creative team, between the creative director trying to push for the story that they had and loyalty to Norse mythology. Like there's just so much.
Yeah.
Like a lot of different layers to it, and blows my mind.
Hundreds of people that are working on it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And how many people were hired and fired during during the creation of it. So it's like,
A lot.
how do you keep things consistent? Like, let's say one team was starting to work on something, it gets implemented, you find out it's garbage, and you either got to fire that team or have them redo, these different mechanics or different, way aspects of the game. You have to like redo everything.
Exactly. Yeah.
Gosh, that's got to be so frustrating.
So yeah, and it took them like 6-7 years to finally release it too. Like they worked on it for so long, and once it was released, the new one came out 4 years later.
Jeepers.
Yeah, like granted, like they used a lot of like the same animations and a lot of the same stuff from the last game, but I mean that's fine. It worked the first time. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. I mean, all they really had to do was just add the story, add some new mechanics.
Well, yeah. If they already had the character models and everything, then you're just going to reuse it in part 2. I mean, that makes sense.
Yeah, really, what you
implored all that stuff.
Really, what they needed was the actors to come back to film the scenes. They needed new mechanics implemented. They needed to run it on like a new engine to up the graphics a little bit more. Which is crazy because I remember the first God of War came out in 2018. It was, oh my goodness, the graphics in that game were just phenomenal. They were amazing, and then even this game they found a way to up it a little bit more this time. So yeah, crazy shit, man. Yeah,
I'm just so impressed, with where we've gone from, Atari 2600, the Pitfall, to God of War Ragnarok.
Yeah,
like how different adventure games and like action games have changed over the years. How different genres have been created, out of all the different things that have come out.
How they've basically been able to take 8-bit video games and turn them into like cinematic stories.
How many bits are they even using nowadays?
Oh, I don't know, dude. It looks real to me though. And sometimes
so we started at 16 bits, right?
Fact checking here. 16 bits going to.
Well, they had 8-bit games. 1779, isn't that 8-bit or is that 6-bit?
No idea.
Early consoles, 16-bit era, 32-bit video games. So how many bits are we at now?
Look.
So that was like stuff like Far Cry 5. I just want to know how many bits. Just tell. Okay, there's The Witcher 3. Alakai, why is it not telling me how many bits?
I have no idea. I'm trying to look and see how many.
Well, I know we're in like 4K resolution now, but how many bits are they using in graphics now? 128 bits?
A lot.
Like, it's got to be a lot, right? Again, running Crysis 3 at minimum is adequate for many systems. However, if you want a full experience, see, it doesn't tell me how many bits.
Yeah, I'm having a hard time finding it too.
How many bits are used? I can't even used in video games today. I just want a simple answer. By the way, there are 128-bit processors in home game consoles, but they usually aren't the main processor. Dreamcast has a 128-bit graphics card in it, although its main processor is only 64-bit. Interesting. PS2 is a 128-bit processor. Do we just not go in bits nowadays? Is that...
Yeah, probably not. It's beyond the... It's beyond the screen.
Why did video games to 128 bits? Yeah, it's possible that ever since the 128-bit consoles, which would be Dreamcast, PS2, maybe they don't see them as that anymore.
Yeah.
Because they all have graphics. They're like basically computers now.
Yeah. I wouldn't know. I don't work in graphics, so
And I don't know
I've
the
known
history
for
except
years.
for the early history of a lot of these consoles. So.
yeah.
Oh.
Oh man.
Final Fantasy VII was a pretty big deal back in the day. Unfortunately, my brother was the better gamer of us, so he would mostly play Final Fantasy VII while I watched.
Mm-hmm.
And that was such a great game. I actually bought it on Steam a while ago and started playing through some of it, and I was just like, wow, there's some serious nostalgia attached to this.
Yeah.
I think it was like not a remake. No, I think maybe it was a remake of Final Fantasy VII with like updated graphics and stuff.
Mm-hmm. Jacob, we should probably wrap this up. We're now at an hour and a half looking at.
Yeah, I was looking at, we're at like 100 hour 25, but man, this was such a great like idea. I'm so glad that we decided to switch to this.
I know we had like a whole thing set out to like, oh, this is what we're going to talk about news wise. Oh, nope, just kidding. As soon as you were like, you want to talk about video games? I was like, do you?
Bro, let's talk about video games.
Like, all right. Big bet.
Well, hey man, I really do appreciate you doing all these with us. I'm hoping with the things that we have planned for the future work out really well. We have plans to add a fourth at some point. We have plans to get rid of this little pole and centerpiece in the middle of our our janky. We'll probably move this into the other room as well and just make it just like one seat back there. We're gonna upgrade our microphones so they're mounted against the wall. We're gonna do some cable management and make it actually nice.
We also have another
you can
wall.
you can see all the cables right here.
We also have another wall behind Jacob's computer. We're gonna knock down that wall and turn his computer around. And no, we're not.
That would actually be kind of cool, but it won't happen because we want to keep the resale value of the home.
Yeah.
So, and from our family to yours.
Bye.
Good night. Today's video is sponsored by viewers like you, so thank you. If we earned your subscription today, don't forget to hit that red subscribe button, click that damn bell, and turn on your notifications so you don't miss a content release. The best way to support the channel is to like this video, share it with family and friends, and don't forget to leave a comment down below. Send all of your topic ideas, articles, and video links to theperiodicreview@gmail.com. All of our links are in the description down below.